So I recently picked up 2 Gerber Commuters. I didn't do that by choice. It was because I had such a huge issue with the first model that I wanted to buy a second one to see if it was just a fluke, issue, or if it was something that was a consistent design flaw. And it is a consistent design flaw. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about why I wanted to buy the Commuter in the first place, why it connected with me before I purchased it, the pros and cons. We're going to discuss all that. But before we do that, I just want to jump right into the action. When I got this right out of the gate, I pulled it out of the box and went right to town cutting a bunch of material. And I gotta tell you, the very simple classic drop point plain edge design, Gerber, thank you so much for doing plain edge. They've been gravitating more towards that lately. Of the 3.1 inch hollow grind blade was fantastic. Held a great edge with all the cutting that I did, very fine, good grind angles. The 3.1, great, with the hollow grind, it's gonna be very easy, to cut through the material. And I was just really happy for just a very simple EDC knife to do EDC processing. The blade profile, the 420 high carbon, was holding a good edge for that type of steel. Everything about it was something that I would expect for the price point. So I paid, one of these I purchased on Amazon, and I will have links in the description below if you want to do your own testing or want to take a look at these, and maybe they tweak these in the future. I will have links in the description below. That's always a great way to help support the channel. I bought it for about $24, and the second one I bought at my local Walmart for about $23. So they're about $1 in between. And for a USA made knife, with a lot of just simple classic designs, it really reminds me like of the Buck 110 or the Buck, I believe, 112 Ranger, just in a lighter format. And that's really what made me gravitate and made me connect with these 2 knives, is that not only do they have that very simple profile on the blade and that nail nick, so it's going to be very, what's the word I'm looking for? Acceptable, if you will, around the world, honestly, for a lot of countries. And that's also why I wanted to review this right out of the gate, is that for our, international people, this may be a knife that really connects with you because it doesn't have a thumb stud and things like that. And then the very thin but rubberized kind of polymer handle, 1.6 ounces was a really big selling point to me. I was like, wow, under 2 ounces, USA made, the 420 is decent for that price point. All those things really connected with me. And even the handle design itself, the handle is about 3.8 inches long, simple, again, lock back design, and a really nice deep finger groove. They did a really good job with that. I like that, so I was really locked into place. The old Buck 110s, the wood and the brass or the bronze that they use is really slick. This was really grippy, filled out my large size hands well, gave me a little lanyard hole, so you could stick it like in your coin pocket of your jeans and just have the lanyard hanging out, jerk it right out for those people who just don't need a big, tactical folder, or again, that you live overseas maybe and you have some restrictions on some of the knives that you can purchase and that type of thing. There was just so many things going for it. I was like, man, I want to check this blade out, and I think a lot of people would be interested in it. But then right away, after having busted it out, started doing some cutting tests, and really was happy with the blade performance, the rest of the knife just began to totally fall apart. The one that I got off of Amazon must have been some sort of fluke. There's a tool mark on the tip here where a machine must have nicked it. It's very loud and rattly. There's a lot of blade play side to side. The locking mechanism felt really goofy. There was lots of play side to side. There's no pivot screws on the blade. It's just like a pinned-in system there, as you can see. But it was really loose, really rattly, and right out of the gate I was like, man, that's really annoying. That's going to drive me crazy long term. But then what began to occur, and I'm going to be running in some footage right now to show you, is that there became a roll in the blade, and I was like, well, what's the deal with this roll? This did not happen during the cutting, and it was because I was playing with it, opening, closing, which the action on both of these is very nice. Even without the thumb studs that, you know, it doesn't offer, and just the nail nick, you can easily open this one-handed, which is really cool. And then with that little blank spot, they give you enough that you can drop the blade and close it one-handed. So that's all really nice, good, solid, you know, lockup and deployment in easy, again, one-handed to do that, which is really cool. You know, you can't do that with a lot of other nail nick folders. But what began to happen is that there's this roll, and I'm like, what's going on with this roll? Why is this happening in the blade? And the original one I purchased, I worked it out, and then it appeared again, and I'm like, what is going on? And what has happened is that, and I'm going to hopefully show you guys in here, the metal lock back bar and the little retention bar that offers it the retention that it needs to close and open is positioned in such a way so that when you close the blade, it hits that portion of the metal, and there's this little bit that's about, I would say, maybe 2-3 millimeters, that it literally chips out and rolls the blade. And so when I saw that, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So not only is it really rattly, the locking mechanism and just the liner lock is really kind of jerky and not smooth, and now I'm getting a design that has it making a nick automatically on the blade. So I was like, okay, I've got to buy another one just to see if that's the same case. So the new one that I got from Walmart today, not as much rattle at all, just very slight tapping side to side. So the pin that they used for the joint here is much better. So this one, again, must have just been a fluke. And so I was hoping, when I heard that, I was like, man, okay, maybe that was just a big bad design on Gerber, you know, just a one-off. But this new one that I have got has the exact same issue, and I have not even cut anything with it yet. And I don't know if you guys can see in the light. I'm going to try and move it around here. I have another chip occurring in the exact same location where it connects with the lock back retention bar inside the handle. So this is literally a horrible design flaw that every time you do that, it's going to nick against a piece of metal in the handle and chip your blade. So this will chip itself every time you close the knife, which is super annoying. So unless you grind the blade enough to a point where it's missing that completely, you have a knife that will dull itself and chip itself consistently, which is the most annoying thing ever, and just shows a horrible lack of testing and design for this particular knife, which is really sad because I think it has a lot going for it. I think the 420 is a great heat treat. I think the size, the one-handed action, and again, the handle is really cool. I really like the handle and just how lightweight it is. Even that little bit of jimping right there, really nice. And for people who just like this kind of, I don't know, old school design with some new school materials at a great price, less than $25, I think everything else about the knife would be fantastic, and I would be giving you a good review on this one that I got from Walmart if it wasn't for the fact that the clearance between the lockback retention bar and the blade is so minute that it bangs up against it and dulls it every time. So horrible, thumbs down on this knife. I wish I could tell you that it's a great little gift item or great little, lightweight blade to carry around in an EDC system, but it's not. I would not recommend this knife at all. Gerber needs to go back to the drawing board, and I'm sure with just some fine tuning, they could completely fix this problem. But you're gonna get a knife now, having bought two of them, one that was horrible and one that has at least better tightness on the pin and everything else, both chipping out at the exact same position where it connects with the lockback is just insane. So sorry to hear that, and I really hope Gerber figures this out and really redesigns this knife and does something to fix that problem. So thank you guys, as always, for coming over here and checking out the channel. This is why I do these videos, is you will find negative reviews here at the channel because I want to help you guys out. I want to save you money. I don't want you going and having to deal with what I did, now spending $50 on two knives that I'm now going to have to contact Gerber and deal with and figure out how I'm going to, get this all worked out. I'm going through that so you guys don't have to, and I love doing it. That's why, part of the reason why I love running this channel, is to help you guys, the viewers. So I thank you for coming over here, for continuing to trust just the reviews that we do here. I always want to be forthright and honest with you guys and give you the full picture when we test out a product, so you guys can maybe save yourselves some heartache and wallet ache, if you will. So as always, check us out on all the relevant social media as well. You guys can see what is up and coming in different reviews and things like that. And always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared. We'll see you out there.